Hey guys, it's me, Mr. Cook, the one who makes those like joke object shows you see and stuff. Well, the title is true. Okay, so those who have watched my content and stuff knows that I usually make joke shows and whatnot, and usually knows my humor and stuff. But yeah, everything that I say now and then is gonna be true. I'm done making joke shows. Everything you're gonna hear audio wise and stuff might not sound great, but no, I'm not trying to voice act or anything. This is my serious and honest, and okay, I just said that wrong. Honest final opinion. So, yeah. So, overall, what you're about to hear is true. So, if you know me from like friends or whatnot, otherwise, you'll know me for making object shows and stuff and being inspired to do such. I've been inspired by the object show community since around 2021. Or was it 2021? No, I think it was like 2023 or 2024 or somewhere around that or maybe 2022. Whenever Animatic Battle 3 released and stuff. Um, my first ever object show I've watched in a while that made me go into the object show community was Animatic Battles 1. And then so on. Animatic Battles was my first object show, and it's what made me go back into the object show community. Now, let me say this without a doubt. But the object show community, I was in it before. I bet we all gotten new to the object show community at a young age before because of the audition debuts and stuff that people made of object shows. I only came back because of Animatic Battles. So, yeah. And it's cool and all. And this would be a start of something for me. Joke shows. Animatic Battles, while it has a bunch of characters and stuff, also has a bunch of bad humor and stuff. And joke characters too, like Nebula Void and that. And honestly, it's what made me want to do joke shows. And watching other creators like Magic 8 and or like who else was make joke shows and stuff. Dear Lord, there's so many object shows, so I don't know. But my point is, I've watched a lot of joke shows and I made object shows based off of joke shows. Flaming Gingerbread's also a good one. He made object shows like BF Battle or Monthly and that. And overall, he was the main inspiration. Aside other object shows I've seen, helped me with character concepts and stuff, just anything in general. And I like a bunch of object show creators, especially like Flaming Gingerbread and stuff. But recently, I need to talk about it. I started making joke shows, beginning with actually a show called Survive for Cook Show, or as I call it now, the Battle of Cook or something. But that show was a joke. It was like Animatic Battles with joke characters and stuff. But now, from that point on, I made more object shows. And I know what you're thinking. Where's things like the Battle of Cook or stuff? It's on an old channel I had that I stopped running for low views and purposes. Like, it just died out. I made a new channel to cope with that, which was originally a Pibby mod, believe it or not. Which, for those who were waiting for a fragmented communities thing, I canceled it long ago. I'm sorry for making you wait on that. It was canceled. So now back to the object show crap and whatnot. The channel from there I would now turn into the backup channel we all know is my actual channel today. Should probably change that up. But it pretty much was the start of something new, and which would become my first video of object shows. What was that? My first object show I would ever make on the channel was an animate idiocy, aka an object full ripoff. We had our cast of characters, Axe, Face Mask, Races, and Heater, and then there was the host, and from there I would be inspired to watch more object shows and inspire more shows from that. So, yeah. But, that's how I got inspired to do more of these shows. And the more you see progress in that, you see like there's PNG characters and object characters that are just jokes. You barely see actual characters too. Well, that ends, today and stuff. So those who are watching right now, I bet you're wondering where all the videos are, right? Where's the object shows and stuff you made? They exist. I didn't delete them. I would never delete such precious memories, but I put them on a separate thing. I put them on a playlist of all the old object shows I made, because I want to start out brand new. And I think a big problem with it was not only just because I made joke shows, which get boring very easily sooner or later, but also the fact that I had too much to work on. And trust me, every beginning object show creator starts off with something too much, but I went too far with it. I was one of those creators who went too far with it, and now has to start over because of it. So, yeah. If you remember, the last object show I did was Worsley, and I had stuff to release, right? Y'all know about that. By the way, for those who were waiting and stuff, I will post monthly, and oh shoot, I might have messed up the mic. But I have monthly and stuff, and I'm gonna post it. But yeah, trust me, it'll be in the playlist, so you'll get to see monthly one and stuff too, and New Year's and that. But otherwise, I end the joke stuff there. So now there's a lot of questions. What am I gonna do with the channel now? I'm not Super Earth Society. I'm not ending my animation career here. In fact, I'm still beginning, and I wanted this to be a new start. It's more rather I'm gonna make a new object show and focus on one, and actually continue with seasons and stuff, instead of making multiple object shows and getting distracted and just adding shit onto it. So, yeah. What's my main inspiration for doing such actions? I've recently watched Battle for Boy by Leo Friends and his object shows, and one thing I seem to see is that he makes object shows and they also seem to get canceled, but he finds a way to make it better and not overpile, and he also focuses on only few shows rather than a lot, and that was not where I was going with originally. I'm gonna be like Leo and try to focus on actual object shows and not waste them like I did with the others on this channel. So, with that being said, I'm gonna make an object show, and I'm gonna fix everything, start new. On the other side and stuff, and that, what kind of object show I'll make, it'll be like, obviously it's gonna be inspired from like Boy or Battle of Idiots and stuff. Got characters in that. I like the old animation style and stuff that Battle for Boy had and everything, and I want to probably start there with actual characters and stuff. But no more joke stuff anymore, no more of that. It's just, when you work on joke things a lot, suddenly it gets a little bit more boring and not so funny anymore, and you just lose passion for it, and I don't want to do that. I think if I took a more serious route, I would actually stick with it rather than losing it and creating more and more that will probably just get wasted. So I'm gonna fix everything. I want to work on a new object show. I'm gonna stop doing what I did. I'm gonna put my past stuff in a playlist, but now my channel's gonna start over. I know a lot of y'all will probably be upset at hearing this, possibly, but it's making me uncomfortable and I want to fix it. I don't want to do those shows anymore. I lost interest in it, and it's not good when I don't make content for y'all. Especially since I want to do that. I want to inspire viewers and stuff, but I don't feel like this is the way to do it. So I'm gonna start off new. But I gotta say, I want to thank all those who watched those videos and supported me. That includes Magic 8, which commented on my first ever object show on this channel, Animate Idiocy 1, for inspiration and stuff. A lot of my friends also supported me, Snakes in them, thanks them, and a lot of the other YouTubers and that. I also want to thank a lot of object show YouTubers for inspiring me, such like Flamin' Gingerbread and Mega Object Show guy and stuff, and obviously Leo Friends, and even Michael and Carrie Huang, the main creators of bfdi. Thank them all for inspiring me to do this adventure and fix some things, But yeah, this is a new, guys. We all start something new at some point. I gotta say one more thing. I feel like I've said enough, so I'm gonna go to the end of it. But this is for anybody who has a lot of projects and are having trouble with it. If you aren't comfortable with it anymore, or you lose interest in it, but you're worried about your fans and stuff, spread something about it. Spread info about you being bored and telling them the truth. Your fans will understand as long as you give them info. And that's why I'm making this video too, because I gotta give info somehow. Because without info and just remove all my videos and stuff, it would probably be a lot of backlash. So I want to say this before removing those videos. But tell your fans first, and then remove the videos and start new. Or at least unlisting them. Because as long as your fans know about this, they'll understand probably, and will probably support your idea. You always gotta tell somebody. Also, don't make a lot of side projects either. Go with what your heart wants and stick with it. That's how many projects, not even in the object show community, have grown. Stick with what you want most. I didn't do that, and now I've just made a mess that I have to clean and start over. Stick with what you want, please. Get inspo and figure out what you truly need. Whether if it's an object show or a comic, or even inspired parody stuff from other shows and that. Just go with one thing and work with it from there. Don't make extra stuff you have to deal with, because then you're gonna have a mess like me, and you might have to start over. I know there's many people who have done this, and I'm just gonna tell you now. Please, don't make too much of a mess. Find one thing you truly need to fix, and go with it, and tell your fans too. I bet they'll always support you, and you should always try your best no matter what. I think that would be concluding the video here. So thanks for those who are watching this. Expect a new object show I'm going to stick with. Expect some probably actual characters even. But yeah, I'm just done with the object shows that are just jokes. I want to actually do something serious. So yeah, that's my news, my info. So, hope you all have a nice, wonderful day, raining or not. You're strong. You can always do this. But yeah, Mr. Cook's out. Peace, guys.